December 6, 1917, Halifax, Canada. A normal winter morning. Children were walking to school, people were at work, and the harbor was busy with ships. But at 9:04 a.m., the city was changed forever. A massive explosion ripped through Halifax. It was so powerful, people thought an earthquake or even the end of the world had come. This is the story of the Halifax Explosion, the biggest man-made explosion in history before the atomic bomb. During World War I, Halifax was one of the most important ports in North America. Ships came here full of soldiers, weapons, food, and supplies for Europe. The city was growing, busy, and full of life. But with so much war cargo, danger was always close. On that morning, two ships entered the harbor. The first was the Emo, a Norwegian ship, large but empty. It was leaving Halifax. The second was the Mont-Blanc, a French cargo ship. But Mont-Blanc was carrying something deadly. Its cargo included 2,300 tons of picric acid, 200 tons of TNT, 10 tons of guncotton, and barrels of benzol. It was basically a floating bomb. The captain knew the risk, so the ship did not even raise a warning flag, afraid of attracting attention during wartime. The harbor of Halifax is narrow. Ships must pass carefully, but that morning, the Emo and Mont-Blanc both tried to move forward. They gave warning signals, but confusion happened. At 8:45 a.m., the two ships collided. The crash was not huge, but sparks flew, and fire started on Mont-Blanc's deck. The crew panicked. They knew what was inside. They left the burning ship immediately, rowing to shore in lifeboats. The people of Halifax, however, didn't know. They saw smoke rising and gathered at the windows and streets, curious to watch the fire. At exactly 9:04 a.m., the Mont-Blanc exploded. The blast released energy equal to about 3 kilotons of TNT. The shockwave flattened everything within 2 kilometers. Windows shattered up to 80 kilometers away. The ship itself was blown to pieces. Parts of it landed several kilometers away. A 90mm gun from the Mont-Blanc was found 5 kilometers away. Its anchor was thrown more than 3 kilometers inland. The explosion created a giant mushroom cloud 3 kilometers high. People thought a volcano had erupted, or that Germany had attacked with a secret weapon. Almost the entire north end of Halifax was gone. More than 1,600 buildings were destroyed. Schools, churches, and houses vanished in seconds. A tsunami followed the blast. Water rushed into the harbor, drowning people and washing away trains. In one railway yard, a passenger train was destroyed instantly. It was said the blast was so powerful, it lifted a ship onto the shore like a toy. About 2,000 people died that day. Another 9,000 were injured. One of the saddest parts. Thousands of people stood at their windows watching the fire before the explosion. When the glass shattered, many were blinded. In fact, so many lost their sight that Halifax became the center for blind medical care in Canada. Children lost parents, and parents lost children. Entire families disappeared in one moment. Even in tragedy, there were heroes. A railway dispatcher named Vincent Coleman saw the burning ship. He realized a train full of passengers was coming into the city. Instead of running, he sent a telegraph. Stop the train. Ammunition ship on fire in harbor. Making for Pier 6. Goodbye, boys. Seconds later, the explosion killed him. But his message saved hundreds of lives. Today, he is remembered as one of Halifax's greatest heroes. Rescue teams rushed to help. Boston, in the United States, sent doctors, nurses, and supplies. As thanks, Every year Halifax sends a giant Christmas tree to Boston, a tradition that continues to this day. The explosion also forced governments to change shipping rules. Now, dangerous cargo must be clearly marked, and ports have strict safety laws. The Halifax explosion was not an attack. It was an accident, but it was so powerful, so deadly, that it changed the city forever. It showed the world how dangerous simple mistakes can be when explosives are involved. More than 100 years later, the people of Halifax still honor the victims. It remains one of the darkest days in Canadian history. Which part shocked you the most? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and come back for more shocking stories from history.